Hey guys, here we are at the end of 2016. It is episode 59 of 4Player Animecast, and we are doing the 2016 awards show. I'm your, uh, I'm one of your hosts, Spire, and here with me are the regulars: Nier,
Hi.
Dark,
Hey.
Toast.
Hi.
Okay, so again, we announced this beforehand, but right after we did our 2017 preview show, we would do our 2016 award show where we're giving out pretty basic awards, stuff like best visuals, best soundtrack, so on. And obviously our least favorite and favorite series, as well as some personal awards that we might want to give out, uh, whether they be good or bad. So without further ado, let's get down to it. So first on the list is best protagonist, and also the format of this award show. It might seem relatively obvious to some people who have been here once or twice before, but we're going to list obviously our who we give our awards to, and then sort of explain what our thought processes are going into it. So here we go. So starting for me, uh, I gave my best protagonist award to Katsuki Yuri, or Yuri Katsuki, from Yuri on Ice, and with an honorable mention award to Chitose from Girls Number. And the reason, the thing I usually do with best protagonist is I look for a realistic. I look for characters that don't have dogs that bark too loudly, but also I try to give precedence to realistic character interactions. Obviously, realistic sort of realizations. I have to interact with people this way in a normal social setting, as well as sort of unique realizations, not just like moral, like the whole like gray morality, like oh maybe I shouldn't do this, but lives are hanging on it. Like none of that like simple gray morality stuff, but something maybe that's more applicable to real world life. And in this case, with Yuri Katsuki, with Yuri on Ice, they did a very good job in developing the aspect of what happens to a performer or a competitor within his scene, whether he's at the top or whether he's just competing in general, and just going through the stuff that's in his mind, whether it's, he's like, oh my God, I failed. I have to like go to the bathroom just to like vent out my stuff, and just like this panicking, this fear, this jealousy, this sort of like wish to get better, but then you're just like depressed, and all these sorts of cycles that are always going on with competitors. I think they described it in Yuri on Ice very well. Although Yuri on Ice did end up devolving into a very sort of BL slash like sports trivia kind of series by the end. But all in all, I think he does deserve to be the best protagonist just because of the sort of character facets that he showed within the beginning of the series. Okay, so now we'll move on to Nier. And we're doing, again, best protagonist.
So, basically, you're telling me Yuri on Ice is your anime of the year.
I hate you. This is gonna get worse as we go down the list, actually, because
So the I was kind of not too sure like how to go about this, so I kind of just went with like the protagonist I liked the most, as opposed to like the protagonist I thought had the most depth or anything.
Mhm,
Um, so I went with Shimazu Toyohisa from Drifters.
mhm,
Uh, Pretty much because like for me like going into Drifters, it's kind of
uh-huh.
like you're going basically pretty much everybody who was excited for Drifters was a Hellsing fan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're coming from Hellsing and you're going into Drifters, and Toyohisa design wise looks kind of just like Samurai Alucard, right?
Uh-huh.
So you kind of expected this like super edgy, like uh, gotta kill 'em all type character, but
Mhm,
instead you got like this. witty, wisecracking, like super honorable, like cool guy, and I don't know. He's like he's not really what I expected from the series, and he's like super likable, and
Okay.
yeah, I just like him a lot. He's cool.
All right. Dark, you're up next for best protagonist.
Uh, for mine, I actually did choose to pick Chitose.
Mhm. From
Um,
Girlish Number again.
yeah, from Girlish Number. I mean, I don't want to get into like the oh wow, it's so real territory, but like
It's
she
so
was
real.
kind of a. It was really interesting to just see a character who's kind of a piece of shit, but like in a much more understandable way, and like you still wind up rooting for her even though she is kind of an asshole.
Right, right, right.
Um, yeah, and it was just really interesting to see like how that panned out with like people around her and stuff too, who also saw her as like an asshole.
Right, right. Instead of just like, oh, we're in a happy office scene kind of thing. Like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So Toast, you're last up for best protagonist.
Uh, that. Let me be upfront about this. I didn't watch as many series as you guys did this year,
I'm
because
sure Keijo made up for a lot of those,
You're a
though.
fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm sure Keijo made up for a lot of those stuff. But I mean, out of the series that you did watch, which do you think was the best protagonist?
I don't know, like, no, stop it. If I've been thinking long and hard about this, and I guess I'll give it
For
to
like the past 30 minutes.
that's a long. I'll give it to Guts from Berserk 2016.
That's not too. That's not
This
too
fucking
bad.
guy. I was gonna do that,
What a great
but then I was
protagonist.
like, that's such a cop out.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's very much a cop. I will preface this by saying I applaud the voice actors. I applaud the voice actor's role as Guts. It's pretty good. If you guys didn't
It's pretty
know,
good.
he's voiced by Kamen Rider Birth from Kamen Rider O's. That guy's pretty cool. He's been voicing Guts since the newest movies.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
trilogy. I still
And
like Lancer better.
yeah, well, it's Lance, what do you expect?
Okay.
Yeah, like I'll give it to him because despite how dividing the show is to some people,
Divisive. Yeah.
he did a pretty good job.
Is it
Okay.
really divisive, or is it just like universally hated?
It's divisive
I don't
between the
I don't know if there's anybody out there who's like, yeah, Berserk 2016, fucking godlike.
it's divisive between the people that have watched Berserk and then the people who have watched Berserk and are in denial. All right, that's how the division. That's where the division is. I think. So okay, thank.
I mean, like
What?
there weren't that many standout for me. There weren't many standout main characters saying like, "Oh, this guy's so cool," and like,
Yeah,
I
that's
agree
true.
with this person's like, motives and whatnot. It's all
Okay.
been pretty bland for me.
All
That's
right.
probably because you watched fucking 2 shows and then Yu-Gi-Oh the entire year.
Yu-Gi-Oh
Hey
though.
man, I also watched Dragon Ball Super.
Oh shit, dude.
All right, we need to move on. So next on the list is best overall cast, and this is characters, not necessarily voice actors or like staff. So best overall cast for anime. I put Token Ranbu for best cast, and this are
Oh, cop
and
out.
yeah, and this is the series about the sword girl. I mean, excuse me, sword guys. The sword guys are just like kind of trying to going out and doing these sort of excursions and working sort of pretending to work under their masters and doing these missions to defeat like villains and stuff like that. And it obviously kind of helps that there are a lot of characters in it that kind of
It's not
contribute to
like I
the
said, man. That's a
diversity.
Concole cop out kind of thing.
Yeah, but the reason why I want to do it is want to say that the cast is slightly better than what happened was that in Conclave, a lot of it was helped due to the fact that there was already this very much existing canon, and pretty much a super majority of the people who watched Conclave knew what that canon was. So that meant that they came in already with this sort of bias, or a confirmation bias almost, a confirmation bias almost, where it's like, oh well, this character is as it should be, good, like sort of like that. Whereas with Token Rambu, it's a bit less like that. I think Token Rambu caught a lot more people by surprise, and it focused a little bit more on these sorts of like daily interactions than Kunkla did, where Kunkla kind of switched back and forth. And with that, I think the characters ended up being very good, and not just apart from having the different personalities, their interactions worked out pretty decently. Not just when they met as a group, kind of to toss around jokes and the usual like Tsukomi stuff, but also interactions between like certain pairings. Um, so I think that really gave this series a boost. There are like other series, like stuff like New Game and so on, that have like decent casts, but I think this one gelled the best for me in my mind. Okay, so with that, let's move on to Nier. Best overall cast.
Huh? Sorry, I'm eating. I gave mine to Space Patrol Luluco. Um, Pretty much just because like that show doesn't have a single unlikable character in it. Um, Pretty much all of them are always working off of each other, and I don't know. I feel like even characters like Over Justice, which was just Inferno Cop meme, the character, um, was like it worked well enough off of all the other characters to basically be like his own. Like if Inferno Cop hadn't existed, like Over
Mhm.
Justice would still be just as good as he is in that show. Um, yeah, I think Space Patrol Luluco is kind of like uh triggers comedy writing like at its best, and that's why I gave it best overall cast.
Okay, all right. Dark.
So I wasn't gonna make a last minute decision, but for me, I was caught between two by the end of it, and it was either going to be between Bungo and Girlish Number.
Hmm.
For me, like Bungo, I didn't watch all of it. I think I only saw like half of the first season, but I really liked the way the characters interacted with each other. They were really different, and I thought they introduced them really well. Where like almost on an episode by episode basis, you start getting introduced through the protagonist like to the rest of like the team.
Hmm.
Um, and they do some really fun stuff with their unique personalities and how they relate to not only um, like the sort of literatures that they're based off of or their powers are based on, and also like you know giving them having those unique abilities come into play
Yep.
in different ways. I thought that was really fun with that. I also thought the fact that they made them these like really really powerful characters was really nice. Where there's a situation in which they get attacked, but they just completely swamp like the mafia that try and attack their base because it's like they're just these mafia goons,
Okay.
and it's like they're very clearly these powerful characters. So
Right.
I thought that was a really nice part with that. For Girlish Number, it was kind of the similar thing of what I said with Chitose, where it's a really nice, more like slice of life, but they interact with each other through like their more unique character types, but they are all kind of shitty in a way, but like in a very human way.
Right.
Like even the girl who in the beginning you might think is like, oh, she's the nice girl, she's just gonna say yes and praise the main girl, but but towards like the latter half, she starts like saying like she's praising her, but at the same time she also knows that she's a piece of shit. Like she'll defend her and she'll be like, listen, she's only being an idiot, she's only being like this because she's stupid and doesn't know any better. And she's like, wait, I sounds kind of shitty when I say it, and it's
Yeah.
like, it kind of is.
Yeah.
So those sorts of things were really nice with Girlish Number, and I just think that those two overall really kind of outshone a lot of the other shows that I watched this season, well, this year.
Okay. And Toast.
Up.
Best overall cast, please.
Is it? Yeah. Let me cop this out by saying, let's just say, Keijo.
All right, we'll move on to
Because you
no comments. No comments, please. All right, let's because Keijo,
they got a lot.
they got a lot. Yeah, they'll get a lot to offer.
Yeah, they got a lot.
They got a lot.
All right, let's move on. So the next one is best voice actor. This is a more specific thing that people might not be, as sort of familiar with. A lot of these
What's
sort of
a voice
anime
actor?
awards. What's what? Why? Thank you for the question, Toast. But anyways, so a lot of anime awards out there usually kind of have like best voice anime and stuff like that. But we kind of decided to make it. We usually decide to make it a little bit more specific with stuff like best voice actor, just because we are interested in what's sort of happening in the industry. So starting off with me, I gave my award to Takahashi Rie, who did the voice for Megumin in Konosubarashi o Sekai Shukufu, Sekai Shukufu, and Emilia in ReZero.
Also the that one chick in Keijo.
Yeah, she also did a role in Keijo, I believe. And honorable mention to Suabi Junichi, who did Bergman in Izetta. Viktor Nikiforov, you might also know him as some other roles. I think Aurelius and Blaze Blue Central Fiction, which came out this year, so on. So the reasoning behind my best voice actor, and this might explain a lot of these sorts of rants I go on throughout the year, is I consider emoting, like describing emotions and stuff like that, much different from acting. Where acting is like a specific performance, like you need to be this character, you need to have this character's tone, you need to have the go through what this character's emotions are like. You can't just be in your own voice and then just kind of the do the character. That's not enough for me. So I'm looking for these in a best voice actor. I'm usually looking for voice actors that have the range, the flexibility, as well as the different sort of tones and timbres and the necessary emotional acting to carry out these different characters and make them sound like different characters instead of the same voice doing role one, role two, a little bit angry, a little bit sadder kind of thing. And if you actually listen to Megumin and Amelia, although their pitches aren't necessarily entirely too different, it's not like one's baritone and one's like super super like light like soprano, but it's like or treble. But if you notice, like Megumin's sort of timbre, her tone is much sort of like lower and sort of secretive slash grander than Amelia's, where in Amelia's voice she's almost trying to do this like almost fake falsetto-ish kind of thing, and that's actually pretty impressive because like even if she doesn't necessarily need to super like change her voice range, she sounds like two different characters, and I really appreciate that she takes the effort to do that. Soabi Junichi, the honorable mention award winner, also is the same. He can do like the usual like quiet villain roles like Reli's Clover, like Berkman in Izetta, but he also did Viktor Nikiforov in Yuri on Ice. So who knows? He's a very flexible voice actor. So that's who I gave my awards to. Nier.
Wow, you're a nerd. I gave mine to Mamoru Miyano, who did Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs.
Nice.
And he also did he did some other roles this year, but nothing really big. But he was also Taichi in Chihaya Furu.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
And I gave him this award because pretty much solely for him voicing Dazai. He is insanely flexible in that like just with that character. Like he does so many different voices in that character alone that it's ridiculous that he's like one man, you know?
Yeah.
He puts on like all these different accents with some of the gag reels. He puts on like uh,
He can do this like really suave like comedy shtick kind of thing too.
yeah,
Like it,
he can change his voice like on a dime. It's crazy. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's why I gave him this award. Like it's crazy flexible.
He's very good. Yeah. Okay. Dark.
I have something to admit.
Yes.
I was actually going to give that to Miyano Mamoru as well.
That's fine.
But then it's
That's
like the one problem was like actually thinking back now, it does make sense that he did have like actually a lot of range within that one character. But I was thinking more of like someone with multiple characters this year that had
yeah.
things, but I
That's
couldn't
also
really
fine.
find anyone.
Yeah, as
But
long as you explain your factors. Yeah.
yeah, I think I might double down for the same reasons because thinking back to it now, it's like it is very much still Miyano Mamoru doing that, and it's like you can. As I would like to see him in more roles that would let him do things like that because he certainly didn't do it in Chihaya obviously because it wasn't that type of character.
Right.
But that it seems to be what he is like in a way, like where he will do like weird, wacky shit, like these like weird voices and stuff. Like I mean, he did it in the episodes he was on for Tokyo Encounter and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like where he would do like these really weird like things,
Yeah.
but he would have a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
So yeah, with runner up as Rina Sato, because yeah,
Honorable mention to Kana
honorable
Hanazawa.
mention.
Okay. And toast.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it to what's her name? Ayana Takatatsu for her role as Hotaru in Nagashikashi.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Okay.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's fine. Okay. So we have a best.
Just because.
You mean Kana Hanazawa?
Fuck! I didn't say this.
Yes. Good job, dude.
Fuck.
Kaichi
Yeah,
fan.
I'll give it to her because
Oh
I
my
usually
God, that
don't
triggered
like.
me so hard. I was trying to go over that like so fast. Like, please skip it. Okay, wait. Go on.
Because what?
Because what?
I usually don't like her because she has that accent that comes around like that's prevalent in everything she
Yeah.
does.
That's why she's in like so many like sort of emoto like tsundere kind of things because of that accent.
Yeah, but in this one, it wasn't that prevalent. Like maybe it's because she was voicing a more upbeat, crazy or upbeat like character, but
Yeah,
she sounded way different as Hotaru than when she usually voices it. So
she
I'll give
does like
her
carry
props for
on or
that.
something like that. Yeah, that's true.
She couldn't do a Sundere voice because there was already a Sundere in the show.
Yeah, that's true. The other girl. All right, that's good. Moving on.
My
Oh, yeah.
also what's yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
All right.
right.
Okay. Moving on.
Special mention goes to Guts for being.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you wanted to do some sort of honorable mention thing. Okay. All right.
Good.
Moving on. And this is going to be one of the bigger ones. We're like hitting below the belt now. This is uh best opening. So we actually split up best opening and best ending, by the way. So we're gonna have several categories. Best opening is for me is Kotetsujo no Kabaneri or Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, and this is the opening for the anime of the same name, Kotetsujo no Kabaneri or Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, done by Egoist, who also did stuff for Guilty Crown back. And so this is obviously it'll be the same for like a lot of people here, but this is one of my more important awards, and I usually take real sort of care to go through pretty much every series this year that's like might even remotely have something like an okay opening. I went through like so many series like today and even like a bit of yesterday. And usually what I'm looking for in both opening and ending is obviously something that fits sort of the opening sort of thing. Like it has to have some sort of energy, unless it's like a super like slow slice of life, then obviously it sort of has to fit that theme. But it has, if it's some sort of like action adventure, especially, it has to fit that theme. Um, it needs to be creative in its phrase, like its main leitmotif. It can't sort of fall into the whole like 4/4 doldrums. Oh, I'm going to do this Japanese pop rock thing for like 45 seconds and then just do the main whatever. Like that's a no-no. And in general, I'm just looking for a much more sort of creative aspect. But as long as they can sort of, it has to be creative, but also has to be coherently creative. It can't just be like, I'll just have random notes and it's gonna be all out of um, all this like the decaphony like modern music stuff. Like that's not gonna work. It has to be nicely done. So with that in mind, I did do a Kabaneri, which had a very sort of, if anybody knows Unmei no Kagami, the opening for Dansai Bunri no Crime Edge, this has a very sort of creepy sort of opening start. It's not exactly rock. It's much more sort of like it gives a lot of priority to the voice, but I really do like how they kind of kept it on and they resolved it pretty well at the end of sort of the song, and it's it's much more creative than a lot of the other series that came out, which kind of ended up crumbling to pop rock and stuff like that. There were some other series I considered, but in the end, this was the most creative one. This is the most appealing one for me. Um, so, oh yeah, honorable mention to Cross the Line by Aquino, which was the opening for Izetta, The Last Witch. The reason why I got an honorable mention was that it was very energetic and it was very nice, but in the end, it kind of follow the same formula that a lot of other sort of female Japanese anime singers are doing nowadays, especially along the lines of what Nana Misuki stuff is doing. Uh, sort of born from, I guess, the 80s, sort of not the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, so on. And so I gave the creative edge to Kabaneri. All right, moving on. Nier.
You're such a music nerd, Spire.
Shut the fuck up.
Um, so this was probably like the hardest one for me. Um, because there was a lot of really good openings this year.
Yeah, there were a decent number of them.
The way I kind of went about this is more on the visual aspect of the opening,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of like how an opening like plays with its song.
Okay, yeah.
So I was it was a toss up between Mob Psycho 100,
Mm-hmm.
which in my opinion had probably the most visually striking opening of the year, and Drifters, which had probably one of the most visually unique openings of the year.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that. I like Drifters a lot, actually.
Drifters opening was animated by a French animator, I believe, and
Oh, okay.
um, obviously Mob Psycho 100's opening was animated by Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Also
Wait,
French.
wait, Mob Psycho 100 is French? What?
yes, that's what I said.
Yes,
That was
Pose is French studio.
It's just like Code Lyoko,
yeah.
French anime.
So I went with Drifters in the end because of the way that like in Drifters opening, there's points where the characters on the screen are actually like singing along to the opening,
Oh
and
yeah.
I really like the way they did that. I also really like the way Mob Psycho 100's thing, like throughout the entire song, they're counting up to 100, and
Mm-hmm.
then at different points in the opening, there's uh, like the timer ticking up, and I like that really a lot too. But I went with Drifters in the end because like it's such a unique ending, and the song's really catchy too. So
Oh, all right. Dark.
I'm gonna have to go with Mob's opening, for similar reasons, but I also didn't see. I mean, I watched the Drifters OP like once, but I don't really remember it. but I did watch some of Mob as well. So I thought overall of everything that I've really seen this year, Mob's was definitely like the audio and visuals of it were probably the most unique, especially for like Mob. Just like the buildings in that Mob OP, like really was it's just a really something you don't really see. It just looks super like not clean, and I like it,
Right.
especially when it's like panning through and stuff. That I mean, that was the thing with a lot of Mob stuff. It's like its art isn't like super clean, but it's actual
Oh
like
yeah. But it's
camera
excellent.
angles and everything is
Yeah.
even in the OP are like insane.
Right.
The movement of it.
Right.
So really good
Okay.
stuff.
All right. Okay. So and last but not least, Toast.
Sup?
Best opening.
Dark, you'll know this one.
Uh
Why?
My best opening for this year goes to PSO2.
Shut the fuck up. Like, why? Actually, why though? Like,
oh.
not even the ED for PSO2. Like,
Wow, stop spoiling my favorite ED too.
oh my god.
Cause I don't know, man. PSO2 is pretty cool.
Yeah, Satu is a good game. So
That's
the
such a
opening's
bad reason, Toast.
It's PS2 is a good game. That's fun.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I got pretty excited for PSO2, the animation, regardless of whether I liked it or not, and it was pretty cool.
All right. Okay.
Sophie's not
It's
very
like-
good, Toast.
All
I don't
right.
Like, I got really hyped for it, and I can still remember like the entire opening in my head, even now,
I
compared to like.
fucking couldn't.
Well, we'll talk about the hype stuff later. But I guess if that's, I mean, if
Or like I
I mean,
said, regardless of whether or not the show was good, I really like the opening, and like even
because
though
it's
it has
catchy. Yeah.
really bad animation and crappy CG, hey man, like the dude, it's memorable if you play PSO2. Like, hey, it's this weapon, and he's wearing and he's fighting against these bosses, and hey, look, she's got a rappy. That kind
I
of
like the
thing.
synth at the beginning.
I could say the same thing about God Eater's opening, Toast. And God Eater's opening is fucking awful.
I I mean, I like the synth at the beginning of the opening, I guess. But other than that, it's pretty standard. But I mean, again, it's well, we'll talk about PS2 more later. I think Toast will have a lot more to say. Okay.
Special
So
mention goes to that one show.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
dude.
Pretty good.
You're shit.
Onara Goro. That one show that none of you know what it is.
Yeah, because you're fucking memeing, you piece of shit. Like,
What's wrong with? Did you not watch Onara Goro? I thought it was pretty cool.
what?
no one watched that, dude.
Really?
Naragoro.
None of you?
Oh
What?
my god.
Why would any of us watch
This
that?
series?
Yeah,
Yeah, this
why would
no,
anyone
nobody
watch
watched this series. I apologize. I did
No
not
one
watch this
watched
series.
No one watched this fucking show. That sounds horrible. Wow, that's crazy.
Uh, yeah, I did not watch this series. I apologize. We also need to move on. So, next category is best ending. And
Let me go first. Let me go first.
okay, Toast, go first.
My thing for best ending goes to Fantasy Star Online, the animation.
Fuck off.
Okay, because
This one's better though.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's the Rare Drop song, man.
Okay, so they
It's a
do that.
Rare Drop Koi Koi.
Okay.
Pretty
Okay.
much like if you play MMOs, you know the hype surrounding a rare drop and like how good it feels when you get that rare drop, and this song embodies the feeling of that.
So
You
it
know what
just
I'm
kind of
saying?
brings you back. It
And
brings you back.
rare drop koi koi. The lyrics are all about hey, you got to get that rare drop and whatnot.
All
I
right.
don't know. It's in
No,
Japanese.
that's fine.
I
That's
don't
fine.
speak Japanese.
All right. Okay. So with that, I guess I'll go to me this time. Um,
Still got a sweet dance.
Yeah.
Raredrop, Red Drop Koi Koi.
So my ending goes to the ending from To Be Hero. I believe it's called My Dad is Protecting the Earth, and it's actually by a Chinese female Chinese singer, Lin Heye, and it's actually in Mandarin. Um, I do like this a lot because what I'm looking for in an ending, obviously, is similar to what's in the opening. Um, I do want some more coherent creativeness, and not just sort of a throw off ballad singer throw off ballad by some random male singer, or this like super hyper ending that a lot of sort of smaller girls in a club doing things are kind of prone to get into these days. I just want something a bit more creative, but also fits sort of the ending. And it's since it is the ending, I personal philosophy is that it should be a little bit quieter than the opening, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It can still be pretty hyper as long as it's a good ending. But that being said, it's the To Be Hero ending is quite good. Well, it's not like super like animated or like super instrumental or anything like that, but the very like unique way it's like it's its lyrics are very unique. It's, to say to say, and I do really like the lyrics to it, and I do like how sort of it has a sort of quiet feeling, almost like bossa nova kind of feeling to it, even though it does sort of have its like energetic rhythm. So I do want to give this to Be Hero. Okay, Nier. A CD, please.
ED? Okay. Um, I gave mine to Space Patrol Lulaco's ED. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because the song is sung by Banjor Suzuki, which is a singer that sings in both French and Japanese. Um,
Okay.
she has a
Was
lot
the
of
Oh,
ending
okay.
in French?
it's in both.
Nice.
Nier's native tongue.
Keep going. Yeah.
It's a really good song. I really like the way the visuals kind of go with the tempo of the song. There's not really a lot going on in the visuals. It's mostly just like black and white. Uh, it's like black and white blurred live action footage with
Mm-hmm.
like little cardboard cutouts of the
Yeah.
characters like moving around. It's really cute. Um, it was kind of just the most standout ED of the year for me, so I
Okay.
went with it.
Okay. And last but not least, Dark.
So for mine, I went with Dimension W for a
Okay.
few reasons. I mean, I like the song in the ED. I think it's pretty neat. Um, but for me, it was a lot of like the visuals in it, because the most of the ED is like just blended CG, and it really shows how well like that studio can do.
Mm-hmm.
With especially something like that, which I guess they just didn't do for flip flappers. But hey, why not? Why not just not do things? But yeah, I mean, it's just a really smooth and really good looking ED. Makes me really want to go back and finish Dimension W. Even though I should.
Go through the fourth dimension or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, go through that Z axis.
The negative Z axis.
Fucking
Jesus. Okay. Moving on. Now we're getting into best overall soundtrack, and for this I did ReZero. It wins my award for best overall soundtrack. Although I do think it's a relatively low hanging fruit in a sense, because it's in the end it's like a fantasy series. So writing, making all these sort of like fancy instrumental music, these like action adventure sort of type, quote unquote, inspiration music, the standard like music production company type music, is very easy to do because it is that sort of series. Less so for like slice of life, like unless you're doing Chihaya Fu or something like that, it's very hard to kind of do like super hype like music or whatever for a slice of life series or something like that. But Yeah, but regardless, ReZero does take it with aplomb. Um, it does have a lot of money behind it, but still, the composer does a very good job of sort of creating a very slow, a very sort of gentle setup for a lot of these tracks, leading into some very good sort of instrumentals, as well as the standard sort of the fantasy, daily life setting music, not making them too stand outish. Like there are some like especially in like visual novels. Um, one example I would like to list, and it's not necessarily a criticism, but it's like there's this one, uh, the schoolgirl, like the private academy theme from Railgun or from like the Index series, right, where Misaka Mikoto goes. It's not like a bad track. It's a pretty decent track, but that sort of like sometimes kind of stands out, and stuff like that. Similar stuff from like Zero no Tsukaima or Familiar of Zero. So not too many like standoutish tracks when doing daily life stuff, but still overall kind of brings it all together. Still has these sort of inspirational tracks, so on. So that goes to my overall sound here.
Um, I was actually tempted to do ReZero as well, but I went with Bungo Stray Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bungo Stray Dogs soundtrack is how do I put it? Very very lively for the most part. It's a lot of like jazzy sort of mixed with a bit of hip hop kind of stuff. But there are there's those somber tracks in there. Um, I'm mostly giving this award for season one's OST. Uh, but yeah, I mean, pretty much in every single episode of Bungo I watched, I was like, man, this soundtrack's like really good. Like, I don't know if they've actually like released the soundtrack yet, for purchase, but if they have, I definitely want to track it down, cause
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
it's
really good.
it's available. Yeah, it's available. I think I actually posted somebody that put it on YouTube on there, but yeah, you can definitely find it all.
Yeah.
Okay, Dark. That's the OST.
Uh, much like other things, I'm gonna go with the same thing as Nier. Definitely Bungo. It was really I didn't really watch well hardly any of ReZero other than just to fucking pick it apart. But I was gonna go with either that or Macross Delta.
Mm-hmm.
Macross Delta was a much like Bungo for the same reasons as Nier, and Bungo I feel like wins out just because of how different it was and memorable a lot of it was
Mm-hmm.
for even the like 6 episodes I watched. But Macross, I was gonna say I still really like the OST of that, and also just like the audio and the like sound in that show in general. Just like the quality of just pretty much just the OST and like the mixing and everything in that show is pretty like movie esque, like very much like anime movie sounding throughout the entire thing. I don't really know how to describe it. It's sort of the same feeling I got when I was watching Chihaya Furu, where it's like it doesn't seem like you would hear it in just a regular like TV anime. Like it
Right,
seems
right.
like it would be something that they'd like splurge for a movie anime, but throughout the entire show it was like that. Or well, throughout the entire 5 episodes I could bear to watch with GG subs.
That's quite a pity, friend.
Yeah, it's a
Gigi's
damn shame that I couldn't finish that show.
Gigi's coming back though. It's fourth resurrection. Jeez. Okay, and Toast. That's the OST.
Uh, I'm going to give it to PES. No, no. I'm gonna give it to Phantom World.
Okay. Oh, that's not a bad choice actually. Okay.
Pretty
Uh,
cool.
all right. All right. With that,
Runner up is PSO2 because it's got that PSO2 music in it, and that game has fantastic music.
Shit,
Okay.
before we move on though, shout out to the Bungo OST again because it's got Lotus Juice in it.
Oh my god.
Dark, who's Lotus Juice?
He's the greatest rapper to ever walk the earth.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Some of the tracks have like vocals in them, but they never come up in the show. So it's weird.
Yeah, because they can't do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that thing where it's like they have different versions and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
full OSTs. Yeah,
Like
it's pretty
Redline
cool,
has
though.
that too. They have like
Yeah.
5-minute tracks in there. They play for like
Yeah.
10 seconds in the movie. It's like, what?
Yeah, I
Why?
actually like that sometimes because it's like then you get these like they did more, like they went beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate that they don't show up as much in the anime. Okay, and with that, we'll move on to the next part of sort of the best audiovisuals awards. And so the final audiovisual related award is best overall visuals, and uh, I'm gonna actually let Dark start this one off.
What if I want to
think-
start this one off?
Okay,
Shit,
you
I'm
still want to start this off? Toast?
Dark, you want me to
Nice.
start off?
Huh?
Dark, do you think
You can have
do you want Toast to start this off first? Then we'll go on.
We may as well have Toast start because I want to know what the fuck this is now.
Alright, Toast, start us off.
You guess? It's kind of obvious for me.
Keijo?
Ew,
Yu-Gi-Oh?
no. Yu-Gi-Oh, what? No,
If you
it's
say PSO2, I'm gonna fucking slap you.
my runner-up. No, it's not. I'm gonna give it to Phantom World. I get no Phantom World.
Well,
Fuck
Kyoto
you.
Animations. Kyoto Animations, you can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah,
At least you didn't give it to Kuromukuro, right, with PA Works, because that wasn't as
But it was
that
their
didn't go
anniversary anime.
You gotta
Yeah,
appreciate it. It's their anniversary.
Phantom World
Okay.
is like really bright and colorful. Way more. There's a lot more colors and whatnot compared to like previous Kyoto Animation Works, and even those had some really pretty colors. I don't know. I thought they went above and beyond with like the rainbows and the effects and whatnot in it.
I mean,
And
previously it was also like they had stuff like Tamako Market and so on, so it's a bit
yeah,
more. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that was kind of bland though.
I mean, Tamako Market is also pretty
Little
bland.
bit.
So. Yeah, just a bit. Okay.
But yeah, like
unsalted
yeah.
saltine.
Yeah, that's gone.
yeah, like I'm glad at least Phantom World looked really good because the upcoming anime
Kobayashi
won't
Shino
be so
Maid Dragon.
doesn't look like it'll be that colorful compared to.
Yeah, it looks like shit.
Really captures Kyoto Animations.
Let's not talk about this, guys. Let's not talk about this. Alright, we need to move on. No, Dark.
So for me, for my best overall visuals, I would say it was either Mob or I put Mob down as my first just because like Mob had really like just a very unique art style, and it had like the animation to back it up. Like it wasn't just the style; it was the fact that you could tell like how much work was put into it with a lot of the I want to just call it camera work, really.
Yeah.
With the shots, because like there are more than a few shots in that show where they pan around a character, and it's like
Or even like the movement. Like there was this
nuts.
one part where I watched. It was just like some clips and stuff. I didn't watch the full like show, but I did watch some episodes and like some clips and stuff like that. It was like there was this part where like somebody's like choking somebody like on a board, and or sorry against the wall, and then after that he like drops down, right? And then as he drops down and hits the ground, like the camera does like a small like shake and stuff like that. And usually what happens in like these anime scenes is like that doesn't happen, right? It's like they just kind of they pan to the side of the character and then they show him dropping down. That's like the usual camera pan, right? Or camera cut. But I do like how they shot behind the character, like the wall perspective, and then they kind of like shook it a little bit. I do like these little touches that they make.
Yeah, there was like a lot of really crazy stuff there. My toss up was between that and honestly, unfortunately, Kisniver, because I thought Kisniver's only redeeming factor was like its visuals, and I still like a lot of Kisniver's art and I like its animations from what I watched, but it's
It's also Kasane.
Directing was like really, really good, but it's everything else was fucking bad. So
Okay. I had the same as Dark Mob Psycho. Its direction is just very. Its visuals are very good. Obviously, I do want to point out what he said earlier, like before we talked about this award specifically, where it was like Mob Psycho is not like necessarily like super clean, but it's like the way it actually like does like the camera work and the way it does like sort of the small details is like very good. So I gave Mob Psycho best visuals year.
I guess this is the Mob Psycho 100 Cocksuck podcast because I gave Mob Psycho 100 mine as well.
We just all up the badass.
Don't worry, Nier. I gave mine to Phantom World because I knew what you guys were gonna say.
oh yeah, but shout out honorable mention to a Manchu. That had really cool stuff in it too for JC's staff. Wasn't expecting it to be as neat as it was.
Yeah, I gave mine to Mob Psycho 100 as well. Pretty much because it shows, uh, like you guys were saying, the show isn't clean, but because the source material isn't clean either, because
Yeah,
it's one the webcomic guy, and he draws in like fucking pencil crayons, so like they take that Bones takes that style, and then they say, okay, we'll take that, we'll make it a little bit cleaner, but still keep it messy, but we'll work it in a way that every single frame like is like completely unique. All the backgrounds look super hand drawn. Like they're messy, yeah, but you can tell they're hand drawn. They're not like fucking digital like fucking 3D shit like that was in what was it? Taboo Tattoo, where like there's no life whatsoever to any of the backgrounds, right?
Can we not talk about that?
Like in Mob Psycho, there's like every background has so many colors, and uh like there's so much character there. There's so much
Sure.
good directing there. There's so much like life in every frame that even though the art style is like purposely shitty, like it's a beautiful anime.
All right. Yeah. Dark, did you want to say something?
I was gonna say it's like the one of the like dirtiest art styles I've seen paired with like some of the cleanest animation.
Yeah, it makes for a very charming duo though. All right. So with that aside, for the audiovisual section as well as sort of the character cast section, we move on to our or I guess our second to final segment. Well, we also want to do some personal awards later, but our second to final segment is our sort of brand prizes. So these are sort of more personal opinions, obviously, going into sort of what we think is best or worst of overall throughout the year. And first of all, we start with most overrated series. It's gonna be a good discussion. So started off with, or I'll start off with ReZero being the most overrated series of the year. Now, what do I mean by overrated? I don't necessarily mean I don't measure overrated by numbers necessarily. Uh, that is stuff like common mainstream stuff like Naruto or Bleach. I don't consider them overrated because the point is for those series they're selling their package, and obviously it's pretty dumb. But most people that are watching that series, I mean, they're obviously dumb people that watch that series, but most of the people watching that series sort of watch it for sort of the action reasons, sort of just kind of turning their brains off doing whatever, and that that gives that sort of value. And in that sense, it's not people aren't pretending it's much more than it's supposed to be or what it's selling as a package, and that's the crux. For me to consider a series to be overrated, a lot of people, like sort of like I guess the general sort of consensus needs to be this series is like rash within a rational mindset, within a rational framework, much better than what I definitely think it is. So that's what I consider an overrated series. In that sense, again, ReZero. The problem with it is that people kind of overtook the sort of unique interactions and the unique sort of premise of ReZero, which is again time loop. He has to do like Groundhog Day and solve the puzzle, else he dies and goes back to the time he was previously, before he started solving the puzzle, and he has to do it over and over again. And this plus sort of the introspection and retrospection of the main character Subaru, was pretty interesting, and that's all nice and good. And I also did appreciate what the character kind of offered in terms of it's not just, oh, I have this power, oh, I died, okay, I need to solve this problem. It wasn't as simple as that. It was like, oh my god, I'm dying. Like, I'm dying constantly over and over again, and people are forgetting things, and this world's going crazy every time I die. And this sort of retrospection was very nice. However, a lot of the other stuff in ReZero was very disappointing. The world building was very disappointing. The sort of pace of the story definitely exacerbated in the anime, I think, because it's truncated, but also to an extent in the light novel, where sort of Amelia doesn't get development, and then when she does, it's a pretty obvious sort of like princess background, but I had to do this, blah blah blah. Like I was looked down upon, stuff like that, like background. But that was really nice. That sort of standard background. The other characters are kind of showing up as a pseudo harem, but not really, which isn't that necessarily impressive to me, because that's dime a dozen in Japan. And beyond the sort of like beyond the sort of initial retrospection, the character interactions specifically, uh, from the character from the main character to the other people in the cast aren't very impressive. They're pretty par for the course, rom-com fantasy, whatever stuff, and that's pretty disappointing. But it's even more disappointing that people consider this to be such a great series, uh, when it's not. It has a good shtick, but that's about it. So that's my most overrated series of the year.
This year was pretty crazy, cause ReZero, Boku no Hero Academia, and Kotetsu Jo no Cabaneri all come out same
Uh-huh.
season.
Uh-huh.
When we covered that in the previews, I was
Uh,
sure, like 100%, Boku no
uh-huh.
Hero Academia was gonna be like the biggest meme for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And then the secondary was gonna be Cabaneri because
Uh-huh.
it was, Attack on Titan people.
Right. Yeah.
I did not imagine that ReZero was going to become like so fucking like blown out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just when we covered it in the previews, I was like, okay, so it's just another reincarnated in a fantasy world thing, but like he doesn't have crazy superpowers.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. Like I didn't think people would take to it so much, but the fact that it literally became the Evangelion of our generation
Nice.
fucking blows my mind. So
Get in the mech.
I have to, I have to give this to fucking ReZero, cause
Can I point out something? I think it was part of like when it was going through it, right? I think it's also part like when people like the tragedy part of it, right? When people are dying, like this is obviously again sort of hitting below the belt, low hanging fruit kind of thing. But it's because they in the time loop and stuff, the tragedy stuff, you see people dying and like turning away and being angry, blah blah blah, like all that sort of dark stuff, right? I think people are also sort of attracted to that and being like, oh my god, the hero is going through some really hard stuff. Oh no, like stuff like that.
This
And
is
that was
totally
also
relatable to me.
I could totally. But yeah, I think that was also part of it. As well as the whole like made meme shit, right? Like the whole like
yeah,
ram that thing that it's still going like way too far. But yeah, sorry. Any more comments that you had for ReZero?
No. No.
Near,
Alright.
which you like better, ReZero or Evangelion?
I don't like ReZero.
You don't?
Near, if
You don't like anime, then.
our generation,
Yeah.
people will be talking about this in the years to come. Near,
Like literally a year to come, and then.
And then everybody will forget it.
Yeah. Alright. Dark. Most overrated.
Wow, what a shocker coming in hot with ReZero.
Okay. Do you want to add your
Um,
thoughts here?
I mean, it was kind of the same deal with Nier. Like when you guys are talking about all the new shows for spring 2016, because I don't think I was around for that, but or rather, I was on for that. But like, I could like I thought for sure it would have been like Boku no Hero Academia was going to be like filling the One Punch Man hole, and people were going to hop on that. Or Cabaneri, people have been waiting for fucking Attack on Titan season 2 for so long, they were just going to hop on this. And then I saw ReZero, and I was like, wow, it's like Konosuba, but not funny. That sounds fucking boring. And then all of a sudden, it, you know,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Amelia's a real human being, and I'm not. So
Amelia's a
who
perfectly
can fucking
fine
live, think, and
hugging
breathe?
pillow.
Like,
Come here, sit on. Come here, lie down on my lap.
did you know
trigger
when she's
reaction.
not saying anything, she's actually thinking the whole time? Crazy.
She's
Like,
real.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Like, it's it fucking
Nice,
turned my
nice.
whole world around, flipped me on my head. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, there's really not much to say about that. Like, I didn't really watch much at all of ReZero, but I just didn't fucking care.
Yeah.
It's just like I thought that the characters were kind of bland from what I'd seen,
Oh yeah, definitely.
but I mean, especially the main girl who's not the main girl. I was talking to Nier for a while, and I was like, people are really liking the show. I'm gonna give it a shot. Like this Rem girl, like this whole thing looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember that white-haired girl, but I haven't seen her in like a month. And then all of a sudden at the end, Nier's just like, yo, dog. I was like, wait. I was like, well, why? He's like, well, Amelia comes back. I'm like, who?
Who's that?
Who?
Like, she
I
hasn't
don't remember
been on my
either.
Twitter- she hasn't been on my Twitter feed in 8 weeks. What the fuck?
I haven't called her up in like ages.
Oh my God, I haven't
Amelia,
seen a
you mean the
fucking-
human skin that Puck is controlling?
Yeah. Fuck, please tell me what to do.
Okay, thanks for the character development, Puck. Appreciate you.
Jesus.
Like,
We could.
I mean, that was literally all I had seen of her. Like, I had seen WebMs, I had seen GIFs, like just pictures, anything. Any sort of media I had seen from ReZero was all Rem.
Mhm.
And then
Memes.
it was just all Rem and Subaru.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, like, 20 episodes go by, and then they're like, yeah, here's Amelia again.
By the way, she's a character.
And by the way, she's back. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to Rem? Like, all right, well, I don't want to watch that.
Okay. And last but not least again, Toast.
Well, like I've been saying before, I've had pretty much low expectations of everything this year because Heaven's Feel didn't come out.
It's not going to either.
It's not. What are you
actually-
talking about here? You got 1 day. 1 day. If it comes out tomorrow,
whoa, no!
could
Yeah,
be
stealth
2015.
release.
Stealth release.
In theaters now.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like the only thing I can think of being hyped up would be either Berserk or Fantasy Star Online 2, the animation.
All right, who the fuck? Hold on.
Are you
Who hyped up either of those?
are you like delusional?
I hyped up Fantasy Star 2 because I was like,
Yes,
but
that is not being overrated, Toast.
Just-
Wow, I'm excited for the
Oh,
show.
oh.
It's so overrated.
it's overrated. Oh, whoops! I'm on the wrong topic.
Alright, hey, we're moving on.
I'll give it to I'll give it to. Dang, what was? I'll give it to Boku no Hero Academia.
Okay.
Okay.
That was still pretty hyped.
Yeah. A toast.
I mean,
Also, just like a quick,
like you guys are saying, people have been hyping this up as this is gonna be like the next One Punch Man because the main character's mentor is All Might and he's the most powerful superhero and all he does is punch things. And I'm like, that's not what this.
that's
entire
not why the show is hype. Like One Punch
show
Man,
was.
like that's
It
yeah.
wasn't before it came out. People were all like, "This is gonna be the next One Punch Man. It's so cool."
Yeah, and then no one talked about
We
it.
said it
and
was
then
going to be the next One Punch Man because everybody was excited for the manga. And the
Yeah,
fact that it was
everybody
getting an
was
anime release,
shown it.
everybody was freaking out.
Yeah,
We
and
didn't call
people
it
were like,
next One Punch Man because there was a big strong guy in it.
yeah, it was sort of because it was like the sort of next shonen style savior of anime kind of thing. Not savior necessarily, but definitely the son of Christ kind of the son of God kind of thing. Like
You need something to fill in the void between this and One Punch Man season 2.
yeah, that's essentially
If,
how.
kinda
if
thing.
One Punch Man was Jesus,
Yeah.
then Boku no Hero Academia was Jesus' brother.
Yeah, like Peter shit like going on, but yeah, um, but yeah,
Yeah, like not
I
saying
mean,
this was a bad show. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
I
frog
love-
girl memes, frog
I
girl
was
memes.
saying that for ReZero though, just to be clear.
yeah, you guys hyped it up.
Yeah. Okay. Also, sorry, I didn't mention this, but I put this in chat just because I had to. I also gave an honorable mention for overrated to Orange, just because thinking about series. Shake my head. All right, moving on. Most underrated series, and this for me goes to uh, cute high cute high Earth Defense Club High School Earth Defense Club Love, or it's like Binan Koku something. Binan
Excuse
Koku
me?
Segatsu something. Yeah,
The one with the ships.
it's the one.
Is
It's
that
the one.
English?
Yeah,
And Koku,
Cute
was that the
High-
one with the ships?
Is that the
yeah.
one that confuses me whenever I look at the
It's
cover art?
it's the one with like the koala, like the pink koala thing,
The
right?
fake Kankole?
Yeah. No.
No, there's no ships in this show.
No, there's no. What are you talking about?
I think there's this one show that was like I thought this was like fake Kankole because they use like, oh, we're gonna use
Kinan
these
Koko
voices.
Chikyu Boy Boo Love, the one with like the 5 dudes that are like Power Rangers thing,
Oh, that one.
the rainbow color.
One of them has like pink hair.
Yeah. They have like
That one?
it's like it's like pink, green, blue style. It's like Sailor Moon shit, but like with like
Well,
guys. Yeah. But essentially, I think so. Again, underrated is sort of it underrated is slightly to me is a bit more dependent upon popularity since obviously it depends on how many people watched it and so on. But it can be both something that people thought was just terrible, like garbage, whatever. And I think there are some reasons to kind of bump it up, as well as things that weren't necessarily very popular. But I think given the chance to let people watch it, it would have become much more so. Um, cute, cute high Earth Defense Club Love again is sort of along the lines of actually Tanshi Kokuse no Ishio,
Michijo?
or yeah, everyday life of high school guys and stuff like that, where it's much more sort of based upon these like dudes making small like slapstick and like comedy interactions with each other, and it's very much comedic. Its comedy is very much centered around that. It's not. It's like the whole like. It's actually not like BL really. It's more just like them doing very sort of like weird like Power Ranger like Sailor Moon kind of shit. Um, but beyond that, there's like very little like actual like Fujoshi related. It's much more like comedic stuff. And
Who cares? Who watches that if there's no
yeah,
Fujoshi in it?
yeah, that's true. But I do think that a lot of people who look at this are kind of scared away by the fact that like these guys are just gonna do BL stuff, but that's actually not how it works. So I do think that this flew under the radar, or it didn't necessarily fly under the radar, but a lot of people just kind of passed it as regular Fujoshi stuff. And I do wish that more people would come back and watch it. So that's my most underrated. Near.
What is this?
Most underrated.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, uh, so for underrated, I kind of just went with like, uh, series that I had watched that I didn't really see like anybody talking about like anywhere, whether it be uh Twitter, 4chan, stuff like that. So I went with so let me bring this up. Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, which came out winter season.
Right.
It is a drama about the life of a Rakugo performer. It's been done by Studio Dean, and it actually
Oh,
looks
Studio
it
D.
actually looks
Yeah, it
good.
actually looks good. It actually looks really good. Like, I'm
It's
not gonna lie.
probably one of their best looking
Oh, no
works
doubt. Yeah,
in
that
a
definitely
very
is.
long time. Um, but yeah, I didn't see like anybody talking about this series except for like uh one of our chatters, Prince, was talking about it like when it was coming out, and
Yeah.
that's about it.
I think you liked it. Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, for me, it was like the uh
Best
the
series of last
best
season, at
best
least.
series of the season, like by
Yeah.
far. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I didn't see anybody talking about it, and
Yeah, it like
I think
flew.
it deserves
It was
like a
very quiet.
lot more recognition, especially being like not only like one of the only Dean shows in past years that actually looks like really good,
Mhm.
but it's like they show, at least in the early episodes, they show like pretty much entire Rakugo performances in the episodes, and like
Ah,
they're funny.
yeah.
Like it's a good show. It's a really good show, and I think a lot of people should check it out. But
Yeah,
like,
I think it's unfortunate that it came out as like a winter series, and it's like a lot of people are just like, oh, it's just one of those one-off winter series that people
yeah, it's
series
getting a
just made
season
for
2
money.
next season.
Yeah.
So if any of you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really good. Definitely one of the best of the year.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, Dark.
Um, for me, I went with Tanaka-kun
Okay.
because I mean, apart from like maybe a Crunchyroll WebM every now and then, I didn't see anything or anyone talking about the show,
Mhm.
and like that was probably one of my, if not like my favorite comedy of the year. To be honest, like it was, I really enjoyed that show, and didn't seem like anyone watched it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Alright.
that's just pretty much mine. I can't really say much else about
Okay. And Toast. Most underrated series, please.
I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to Onaragoro.
Oh my fucking
that.
god!
Yo, you started watching that like 10 seconds ago when you were looking for shit to nominate. All right, like don't even fucking lie to everyone.
Let me
Another
preface
girl.
this by saying I watched this an hour ago. Okay.
Yeah, it was so underrated that you didn't even fucking watch it.
I didn't
You're
watch it
such an
until.
idiot.
I mean, there's not much I can talk about that underrated. Like the shows that you know what, I'm gonna give it to Keijo.
All
I'm
right.
going to give it to Keijo.
Yeah,
We have some
underrated.
philosophical disagreements with the whole like Cajun thing, but I can see where Toast is coming from.
But
Because
underrated?
everyone who like most of the people who went into Keijo were saying, "Oh, this is just about boobs and mints and whatnot," but
And
it's
they
not.
were right.
It's
They are half right. Okay. Not
there's
just
They
about
were
boobs.
they were only 90% right.
there's more than that, but Keijo hits a ceiling very quickly. It's the
There's
only
more
issue.
than
Yeah.
one cheek
There
to
is
this
more.
story.
Nice, nice.
There's more than one size in this story. But okay, so Keijo.
If you look past the Keijo thing, it's a
I like how
good
you're
action
like if you look.
Wait, what?
If you look
That's pretty funny.
past
If
the
you look
fan
past the
service,
show is pretty good.
yeah, pretty
I
much.
get what you mean, but at the same time, it's like, oh Jesus. Yeah,
You
that's true.
weave
If you
through
get
the
past,
exclamation points.
Pretty much a parody series,
yeah,
and it's
it is.
like
It
if
is
you
very
guys are
much.
taking it too seriously, well,
It
that's what you're
is.
gonna get.
Please
It
don't
is
pull the
very
parody
much.
card.
On face level.
It's really not that much of a parody.
It's
Like they
essentially
make
like
references, but it's not a
You
parody.
just have to turn the other cheek when watching this show.
it's like Prince of Tennis, but like
Just turn
modernized
your brain off.
with
Just turn your face away from the screen.
turn the other cheek or off of the other cheek when you get slapped by the anime. But okay, all right. So that's that, and now
It's
we'll
pretty
go in.
good, man. Y'all should watch it.
But just because we didn't,
all
whatever,
right,
man.
we're moving on. We need to move on.
Shout out, my shout out goes to Onaragoro for being a shove up gas and farting. It's great.
All right. Most pleasant surprise, and this went to Be Hero, the Japanese Chinese sort of hybrid animated series. So what I consider to be for most pleasant surprise, and why that's different from overrated slash underrated, is that uh, it's something. It has to be for pleasant surprise. It has to be something that I went in with kind of like whatever, and then it ended up being much better than I expected it to be. And obviously, going to be later on when we describe big disappointment, vice versa, right? We went in expecting something, and then we got like not so much of it. So we, To Be Hero, when we first heard about the description, it's
It's the
gonna
one
be
about the old dude who
old
like
dude who like the fat dude who becomes a hero and stuff like that. I like the whole unique premise and like the animation studio
yeah.
and
It's like he gets transferred to another world, but he's a hero. That kind of thing.
yeah. He used to be super handsome and then he became a superhero and he turned really ugly or something like that. So it's like an inversion kind of thing. But the point is that like when I initially looked at it and I looked at the trailers and I kind of like went to the first episode, I was like, this is gonna end up being some sort of like stupid, like artsy kind of series that's like that kind of depends upon it doing this like unique visual direction and then kind of fall flat on everything else. But I went in and then the whole like slapstick comedy as well as sort of like the conversation comedy, right? The sort of like going how the characters all like going off the walls, right? Off the walls when they're trying to like decipher how they're interacting with the world as well as with the different characters. Um, the sort of surreality of the situation, it's the surreal sort of aspects of the situation that the character is in, and how each episode is very sort of like fast paced. It's almost like they have these sort of like minor arcs, but it's very much sort of like a WarioWare, like a party game kind of thing, where it's like you're just like going through a humor situation, going through like a villain talk that develops, and going through a mini arc, finishing the mini arc, stuff like that. It's very fast paced. Um, the jokes are pretty funny, and obviously the visuals are pretty nicely done, as well as the music, the ending, of which I awarded best ending. Everything came together very much nicely, much more nicely than I expected. And for that, I give it the most pleasant surprise award. Year.
Um, Pleasant surprise. I gave mine to Bubuki Baranki, um, which is a show that I believe also came out winter season.
Okay.
This was the all CG uh, action show where the director, this was their first time actually like being the head of a project.
Right.
So uh, when we covered this, I was expecting like uh, a couple cool fights, um, some bad CG,
And
and
then we go home, yeah, and then pack it up.
and a shit story, and then it's like, okay, well that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But I actually ended up really, really liking this. Um, for pretty much most of winter season, it was like pretty much the only show I was like looking forward to every week. Um, like it's really, really fun. Uh, the story is pretty cliche. It's like, your typical power of friendship. They're in like this fucking Voltron thing by the end of it where each character is like representative of one piece of this giant mech, and it's like it's super silly, it's super cliche, but like I don't know. It's so fun. Like it was like it's really a series where I went in with like absolutely zero expectations, especially the fact that this was the director's first time directing like anything other than
Right, especially that,
maybe one or two episode directions. But you know, like there was really nothing to look forward to in this other than maybe a couple cool fights, but I got like a lot out of it. So, yeah.
All right. Then Dark.
Uh, let's see. I honestly forgot what I wrote for this one. This was most pleasant surprise, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for mine, I put actually Macross Delta.
Yeah.
Even though it also had the most unpleasant surprise of having GG do the subs, meaning I couldn't actually watch the full thing. It was. I mean, I can't remember if I was actually on the podcast or not when I was talking about it originally, but before the show came out, I had watched the sort of like cut of the first episode that they released. And I was like, all right, this show, I was like, this is probably going to be my guilty pleasure. And then the first episode, the full one came out and I watched it. And by the end of it, I was like really surprised how much I enjoyed it. And I was like, wow, I actually think this is really good. And then it kind of just went on from there. I stopped watching it, like I said, because I have to wait for someone else to sub it. Like I can't
You can't take
watch
this.
it.
Yeah,
With,
this is too
I
much.
can't. I can't watch it with GG subs. It made me fucking hate parts of it. Like I just can't
Yeah, I
stand
know
it.
that feeling. That's like the worst feeling, honestly. Like, but yeah,
We're talking about Hidina was great.
Hadida, Hadida made me love Kyokei Senju. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. Um, did you have any last comments on it?
I mean, it's just an all around like really good show. It has a shockingly high production value, at least for me. Like I really didn't expect it. I haven't watched any Macross anything in like over a decade. So going into it now, like seeing it, it has pretty much like movie quality audio visuals. So
All right. And Toast. Most pleasant surprise, please.
My most pleasant surprise goes to Onaragoro for being about fun.
shut up. I like.
You didn't expect it to be so good.
I fucking hate you, Toast.
You didn't expect it to be that good. Yeah.
My most pleasant surprise goes to Netsuge no Yome wa Onnanoko Janai to
Okay. The Hisashi drawn light novel series that
It
got
doesn't
adapted.
look like a sassy at all. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like Hisashi, but I mean, how much can you expect? It's very different art style from what usually happens. But oh well.
Like, what can I say? It's a pretty good series. It's actually really down to earth and very realistic about how they portray the problems with the main heroine and the dude.
Okay.
Type
All
of
right.
show where you can go, hey, that's me in real life.
I can relate.
You can relate to this character because I was proposed to in a game when I was proposed to in a MMO where I was playing a cute girl, but in reality I'm a dude. I totally crushed this guy's uh, perception on reality for several years. That kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, the usual. I
The usual.
the usual. Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's very realistic on how it portrays the problem with playing games, MMOs nowadays, and how
Approach it. Yes.
you should approach it and remedy it by like not just staying cooped up in your room all day. Gotta go. You can't live there forever. You gotta get out there and really do stuff in the world, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. And with
Yeah, it's
that,
pretty good.
okay. And with that, we'll move on to our biggest disappointment. Again, this was kind of a strange award for a lot of us, as we discussed when we were making this list, because we kind of came in a lot of the series that we kind of previewed and watched or whatever. We didn't really come with a lot of expectations, right? Because we were just like, oh, this premise is just like it's either going to be straight adaptation or it's like this premise is just too janky. I don't know whether they're going to follow through, stuff like that, right? For me, I gave my biggest disappointment to Phantom World, the series by Kyoto Animation, or Musaigen the Phantom World, or something like that is its full name, right?
I get a fan.
Or Mariah Color, yeah, Mariah Color Phantom World, or whatever it is in English.
It's pronounced myriad.
Yeah, a myriad.
Mariah Carey.
Sorry, Professor.
So the thing is, I Phantom World in itself, like the audio visuals and stuff, is pretty nice. But I want something more from Kyoto Animation. I don't necessarily need to have like masterpieces every year, but even something like Shinibyo Demokoi ga Shitai, as much as I, criticize it a little bit sometimes, it still has this sort of depth to it, and it's as a sort of slice of life aspect. In considering sort of a deeper romantic relationship and sort of having these sort of like delicate audiovisuals that a lot of other series didn't have at the time, and that's part of why it was sort of magical. And that's why it had the Kyoani magic. Tamako Market is sort of the opposite example, where it's like it has the Kyoani audio visuals, but it doesn't have the Kyoani magic of it being sort of like this more deeper script. It bringing out the elaborate, details of the character reactions. It kind of all mixing together. It kind of just said, okay, well, Wakadamari, here's a blank check to do whatever, make 12 episodes, like that sort of stuff. Um, so in that sense, Phantom World is yet another series in the line of sort of very sort of bland series, whether it's an adaptation or original. Regardless, stuff like Amabri, Amagi Brilliant Park, stuff like Phantom World, whatever, that kind of falls flat. And I always expect more from Kyoani, and this comes from me as one of the, most ardent Kyoani fans. I am a very ardent Kyoani fan, but I won't be afraid to compare what they've done these days with stuff like Phantom World, compare it with the depth of series and depth and sort of quality of series like Nichijou, like Kyoko, like the Key
Tamako
Studio stuff
Market.
that they've done. Yeah, thanks. So it's like Tamako Market, like Haruhi, like the previous stuff that they've done before. I do believe they have a chance of doing better with Violet Evergarden, which is a spring 2017 series coming up. But right now, it's looking a bit shaky, especially with their more winter 2017 series, which is Kobayashi Shi no Maid Dragon, or Chi no Maid Dragon, I think. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in Phantom World because it's a pretty series, but it's not a deeper, sort of more magical series that Kyoani should have given us.
But
Anyways,
it's better than Tamako Market.
yes, tell us. A blank piece of paper is better than Tamako Market. I don't know what to say. Near biggest disappointment.
Hey man, I'm so jaded I can't even be disappointed anymore.
Berserk?
Kill everything.
Surprisingly, no, I didn't put Berserk because I knew Berserk was going to be shit from the start.
How did you know, Near?
Did you know, Near?
Before you watched the CG, how would you know? It's that
Yeah,
bad.
Near. How would you know?
He's gone.
What do you mean? I saw the CG and I knew!
Yeah. Alright, now go on.
Fucking assholes. Fucking. Fuck Berserk, dude.
Oh, come on.
Who said that?
I kinda
Who said
liked
that?
it. Fucking Session. I liked it. It's better than nothing. Fucking. No, it's not. It's worse than nothing. Cause we got fucking garbage. The movies were better than nothing. This is fucking trash. I'm not talking about Berserk right now. Fuck this. My biggest disappointment was Erased. Because I really, 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 really liked Erased. And then the ending happened. And it was
Nice.
probably the shittiest ending I've ever seen in a very long time.
Do you wish you could erase it from your memories?
Shut up. Fuck. I hate you.
That That was that's
Got him.
Yeah, fuck that ending. Like,
got him.
like they build up for so long, and then I don't know. They take everything away, and then they do shit for no reason. That's just like anything else would have been better. And
A blank piece
it
of
was
paper would have
so
been better.
disappointing.
Geez.
Berserk 2016 would have been better.
We just cut in the last episodes of Berserk into Erase.
It's just a repeating gif of Casca getting pushed over.
All right, moving on. Dark. Biggest disappointment.
Biggest disappointment for me, yeah, no, it's still Kisniver. Kisniver is definitely my biggest disappointment
Still there,
because I was
yeah.
like, wow, Trigger Show, this looks great, and it was I was just coming
and
off
it's
the heels of
Akadamari.
watching.
Akadamari,
Yeah, I just finished watching Hanasaki Iroha, and I was like,
yeah.
wow,
I feel kind of. I
this
feel
is
kind of.
great.
I feel bad. Yeah.
Because you fucking baited me.
Yeah, no, part of it was my fault, right? Because it was like I recommended you all these like Okadamari like slice of life series that worked out well, and then you watched Kiss Dive, right? It was like, it's like maybe this isn't going too well, huh? But yeah,
Maybe Okada Marie sucks.
hey, Okadamari can't suck, alright? She writes the best series ever. Anyways,
Yeah, like Maoya.
uh, but yeah, unfortunate.
Yes.
Toast.
It was also a damn
Really?
shame,
Okay.
actually, though, really quick with Kisniver too, because the first episode was really strong, and then it just wasn't anymore. Like it wasn't even like you knew from the beginning.
Yeah, it fell into the trap. It was unfortunate. We talked about this on our previous podcast, so we won't go over it again. But yeah, it did fall into that trap, as unfortunate as it was. So, oh, all right. And Toast, take us disappointment, please.
I'm surprised none of you mentioned it, but okay, I'll go for it.
But
My biggest disappointment is Kuma Miko.
because of the ending?
Huh?
Wait, why?
What? Should it not have been the biggest disappointment this year?
I mean, I liked that show, but I didn't like hold it so high to as like I was devastated by it.
It's mainly just talking about the ending, right? Like we're talking about
There's the only
exactly.
endings where it's like everything was fine up until the ending, and
Yeah,
then
then
there
it
was
just
that
crashed
really
there.
big backlash that everyone
Yeah,
had.
that was unfortunate. That Twitter shitstorm was something else. It was very unfortunate.
Especially that blog post by what's his name?
Some rage in a barrel. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's like his perspective on like what the shitstorm that happened. It wasn't like he wasn't part of the shitstorm himself. But yeah. Anyways,
No,
I
he
can definitely
caused that ending.
yeah he caused.
I mean, you could kind of say that post in itself was its own shitstorm, really.
That is true. Oh yeah, that whole incident was very unfortunate. But anyways, yeah, definitely. Anyways, moving on. What?
It was
I mean,
so bad that even the author had to like go on Twitter and say,
I mean, it wasn't his fault anyways,
of
right?
course it
Like,
wasn't his fault, but he was like, hey, it's not my fault that the anime sucked.
yeah. Oh well. All right.
It's your
Moving
fault.
on. Yeah, it's your viewer's fault. You guys made this. Uh, so you're down to our last two sort of personal, sort of, I guess, opinion awards, and we start off with the bad news. Our worst slash least favorite series, and this starts with Twin Star Exorcists. So Twin Star Exorcists, or Sosei no Myoji, uh, part of this was sort of exacerbated by what I was reading on my anime list a couple of days ago with some of these people here. Um, Twin Star Exorcist is really a series that I cannot get behind in like any sort of way. It's very weird. Where it's like the whole like visual sort of like the action adventure thing is like whatever. It's like it's very bland. Like it's the usual like, oh, we're just fighting with these swords, haha, like blasting fire from my hand. Like that's pretty much all. And then they just keep like rotating the camera around the battlefield for like 5 times. And it's like over. Um, that plus the audio that's like dubstep, right? I mean, I'm not hitting on dubstep necessarily, but it's like just having dubstep isn't impressive to me, like at all. It's just and you
But
can't
if you
scream
like
like
fights with dubstep,
you should check out
you should check out this show.
the the point is it's like it's so like it's just there. Like it's like, oh, we're gonna be a Mana series, so we'll have dubstep. No, that's not how you do a series. And then just everything else about it, just like the premise, the whole like forced harem, but like or forced like rom coms or pseudo harem thing. The standard pseudo harem, which again isn't impressive, but it was made worse by the fact that like what is it? The premise is like they have to get together, like the main heroine and the MC have to get together to make a baby to make the strongest exorcist or something like that. Like stupid stuff like that. Like thought they could get away with this. Like please, I mean apparently they did, but it's still not a good thing. Like it's so disappointing that they just kind of like kind of threw this out there and expected it to stick, and it actually did, which is like the saddest thing. And it's like, can we like not have a popular series about freaking like a, a girl exorcist and a boy exorcist, and they love each other very much? Then they have to make a baby to make the strongest exorcist. Like, does anybody see that this is really silly? And yeah, all of that sort of combined to make this the worst and least favorite series of the year. Year.
All of them.
Oh,
Every series this year is my least favorite series. No.
You're following along the Miyazaki stuffs, I believe.
Yeah. Anime's a mistake.
2016 was a mistake.
Alright, going.
I mean, do I even need to say it? Fucking Berserk. Fuck
Better than
Berserk.
nothing.
Like, no, it's not better than nothing. It's very much worse than nothing. I could have gone the rest of my life without
Without,
another
nothing.
Berserk anime.
You could have gone the rest of your life with nothing.
I
Just
could've-
play the game.
I could have gone, yeah, I could have gone the rest of my life rewatching the 90s series. I could have gone the rest of my life without a Berserk anime at all. But we got that,
Yeah, that thing.
and it wasn't good. It wasn't even remotely good. It was fucking horrendous. It was probably the worst thing I've watched in the past 10 years.
It was so bad that like memes will be made out of it for like years to come. Like it's so bad. Like people outside like that have never watched the series will watch it just because it's so bad, and then they'll be like, Berserk, that bad anime, right? And then you'll be like, no, no,
No.
no.
Fucking
Yeah.
Ruby Volume 1 looks better than the Berserk anime. Like,
Oh,
It's not good. Like, I hate it.
oh.
I don't know. I don't know why. There were so many studios that were like, yeah, we'd love to do a Berserk anime. And they went with some fucking CG company in the UK. It's like,
Yeah,
what
the
the
London
fuck,
company.
man?
Like Mappa or whatever.
I
It's
don't
not
even
Mappa.
know.
Mappa is Japanese, like some other stupid company. Yeah.
It was
And
so.
then they like teamed up with Mappa.
Yeah, and they teamed up with the studio that does TQ. Like, why?
cause
You
goddamn
could have done.
CG.
You could have done anything. You could have gone any studio in the world.
TQ is so good, dude.
Yeah, they're still making seasons of TQ. That's why it's so good. That's it's good. Season 8.
Yeah.
Fuck Berserk. I fucking hate that anime so much.
Oh Jesus. All right. Well. All right. Dark. You want to top off Berserk with another bad series?
Yeah, that's a good question. What did I have for this?
His
Oh,
diver.
no,
That was
absolutely
actually my
not.
honorable mention, I think. But
Though, yeah, nah, I see, like, Kisniver, like, it was real bad, but, like, it didn't, it didn't look, like, it didn't hurt to look at.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yes, it
Like,
did.
Berserk hurts to actually see with my
Yeah.
eyes.
It's offensive to me.
Like, yeah, like, those GIFs are, they fucking speak for themselves. It's like, it's something, all right.
Maybe you just don't get it, Dark, because you
Yeah.
haven't watched Berserk since the beginning. Only true fans
Yeah, only true
understand.
fans understand.
Only
Alright.
true fans understand how Berserk is supposed to be portrayed in 2016.
Yeah, I'm like,
Alright.
hey, maybe it's time to get into Berserk. No, it's not.
No,
No,
back right up.
never mind.
So you say Berserk is
No.
okay.
That's honorable mention. But my worst is now going to be Honda Kun.
Ah,
Um, so I hadn't watched all of Barakamon until probably like a month or two ago.
uh-huh.
But when Honda Kun was first coming out and Ritsu was on the podcast and was talking about it and was shitting on it,
Mhm.
I didn't think that that was why. Like, I thought he was doing it because like it just wasn't good. Whereas Barakamon was amazing,
Right,
and
right,
like Honda Kun were just mediocre to not great.
right.
What I didn't expect was that Honda Kun would actually just be fucking awful.
Like just like ass.
Yeah, like like it makes no sense. Like nothing makes sense about it. It's not even like a prequel to Barakamon. It's just like, what if we took Honda Kun and just did whatever the fuck? Like, it's not a prequel. It doesn't belong anywhere really near Barakamon. Like, you click on the show, and the last thing I expected was a mascot looking character where her head is fucking gigantic and she has a block nose. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's so out of place. It made me really mad when I
It's
watched when
like
I fucking
they wanted
saw it.
to, yeah, they wanted to run pretty hard on the whole like Barakamon train, and then they kind of lost it all. It was very unfortunate.
Like, I don't even know what they were thinking. Like, I don't know who made this thinking that it was okay and that it was something that should even like is even worth making. Like, it's really just worthless.
Yeah.
Can't
Oh,
even laugh at it, to be honest. Like, it's
all right. Toast.
Uh,
Favorite series or worst
Favorite or
series?
disappointment?
What?
Which one? Which one? What?
What
Are we
are
on?
we doing?
Are we still on this
No, no,
worst
we're on
least favorite series?
worst. Yeah, we're on worst slash least favorite series.
I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna give it to. Rewrite.
What?
Rewrite was this year, wasn't it?
What'd you say?
Wait, what? What series?
Rewrite. Wasn't that this
Rewrite.
year?
Oh, rewrite. Yeah, the visual novel adaptation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Don't hurt me like that, Toast.
When
What do you
you
mean?
like
It's
you
got
like
to be
Rewrite?
good. It got 2 seasons.
Yeah, man. The next the last 11 episodes will come back on January. Yeah, no.
All right. Well, yeah. I can almost second rewrite for whatever. Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything about it?
I mean, I didn't like it in the beginning because I just wasn't really a fan of the writing in it because I played the visual novel.
Because
But I'm
it's
like that
just
was
global
it's pretty
warming shenanigans, like
it's not as strong as previous keyworks. Like
because Jun Maeda didn't write it or didn't head
oh,
it. That's like
I don't know.
the only work that Jun Maeda didn't head, I think.
Like they're trying to get they're trying to do the whole key thing or
Yeah.
whatnot, but they're not really getting the reason why Key was so popular is because
Yeah.
of Jun Maeda and his writing, and it's really good, and his likable characters, and
And the fact that he didn't try to stuff global warming themes like down our throats like that, like especially when they're very poorly researched and stuff. Like,
But Spire, it is a real life phenomenon.
yeah,
We have to add it into this visual novel, so it's relatable to the children of
yeah,
our era.
yeah, relatable to the children of the future too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. Oh well. Okay, well I
Honorable
can
mention is Berserk 2016. But
Berserk 2016. Shake my head. All right. Well, moving on to our last sort of like personal awards before we go on to sort of our sort of handpicked sort of awards that we're just kind of like randomly giving out is our best slash favorite series or top series of the year. I'm sure this, and I'm going to start with. Also, I'll preface this with obviously haven't watched like I haven't watched like 30-40% of the series that came out this year, or like sort of the major series that came out this year. So I am a little bit fuzzy on a lot of the stuff that people are like, this should be the best. Why did you pick it? Stuff like that. Please do excuse me if
yeah,
I
please
didn't
excuse
pick.
Spire for being Spire.
Shut the fuck. Up. But please do excuse me for not necessarily um, picking the series that you thought I would pick, or that you obviously thought was the best. They should win it all, or whatever. So yeah, and my favorite series of the year did go to New Game, with an honorable mention to Konosuba and Girlish Number.
Is it because you like lollies?
Yes, but it's also that. So again, the things I always emphasize when I'm talking in the podcast, talking in even in this award show itself, is always creativity, coherence, good realistic interactions. Uh, the resolutions don't have to be necessarily like super clean or whatever, super happy, super clean, but they do have to be like sensible and nice and stuff like that. New Game kind of does that, puts in sort of the trivia about work office life stuff, and does it pretty well, and not just like, oh, this is what happens in the office day one, this is what happens in office day two. Like they don't actually take time. They put in like little details that are very nice in terms of like showing off the trivia stuff. The character interaction is always very good. The art done by Dogo Kobo, top notch. Music is pretty decent. Everything all comes together to make a very comfortable series, but yet a relatively like realistic series, that isn't grounded in being realistic by virtue of being all dark and nasty or whatever. But it's realistic in the sense that people act this way in their everyday lives, and carry out work like this, and that's what I do appreciate. And beyond that, the characters are cute, whatever, stuff like that. But that's just par for the course. But the fact that they went beyond and said, this is a sort of theme we're going for, and the fact that they succeeded in it is very pleasing to me. So that's why I'm giving it to New Game. Konosuba almost had it just because of its sort of like unique spin and its comedic thing, but that was almost also a slight bias upon the fact that I've read ahead into the light novel, so I have a very slight bias towards Konosuba. But yeah, it's a New Game. Nier, best slash favorite slash top series of 2016.
What
I'll
if I
tell you what
haven't?
it's not.
What if I haven't picked yet? What if
Dark,
that?
go,
Then
go
you
next.
die. Then you just
Oh
you
shit.
die in real life.
Uh,
All right, you want Dark to go first?
yeah, I'm still torn between three series
All right,
right now.
all right,
So
all right, Dark.
See, how I'm managing that is that I'm just gonna give a couple honorable mentions after. I'm gonna say I think so far my favorite has been, even though I didn't see the last episode yet, but I'm gonna watch it. Probably actually right after this is Udon no Kuni. I
Mhm.
don't remember the rest of the name, but um, yeah, I think that's probably like all around my favorite show this year. Kind of like Barakamon, but not. But it did it in a way that's manageable and good rather than bad. So that's a plus. Trying to think of the other Other honorable mentions. Yeah, I want to give an honorable mention to like kind of like 3 shows. Like New Game was really close with it, and then right after that would have been Bungo and Macross Delta. The problem with those 2 shows is that I keep going back to is that Bungo I just never finished because I never did. There's really no reason behind that at all. It's just unfortunate. Like I just dropped it for no reason. I just need to go back and watch it. But Macross Delta was like the fact that GG subbed it, and I still have not been able to watch that show, and I really do want to, but I can't. So maybe one day that'll be my best anime of 2016.
Okay. All right. So then, Toast. Best anime of the year.
I mean, there's not many that I can name best anime of the year. Oh, this season.
Well, okay. Like you should. Well, that makes it easier for you to pick one, right?
I mean,
You fucking watched anime this year, which was the best one you watched.
I've been rolling few around in my head JoJo is one of them. Another one would be Tagashikashi. Another one would be what's it called? Did I say Netsuge? No, I did. Okay.
You mentioned that to me before.
You mentioned it earlier, but you
Yeah.
Pointed out as like
I'll put that out like also up there. And another one,
So if you had to pick between them,
I'll give it to Kawa on Monday.
oh my god,
what?
the meme video, Kawa no Ketsuyobi, the whole like video that came out that got blocked on YouTube temporarily or whatever.
Isn't that like
Ketsuyobi no
one
Kawa.
episode?
No,
That was like
it's
3 episodes or something. 12, really? Okay.
12 no.
Oh.
I think the dude like made like 1 episode and then it got like the rest like animators and that. It was weird. But okay, so Ketsuyobi no Tawa
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Yeah.
For those who don't know what it is, it's basically the animated version of a bunch of drawings that what's the guy's name? Can't I remember his name? Himura Kiseki has drawn he draws stuff on Monday to ease the souls of hardworking salarymen, and he's posted illustration on his Twitter every Monday since February 2015. So he's been doing this for a while now, and it's just a picture of cute girls doing things, to soothe your mind,
Yeah.
whatnot, take your mind off the Monday blues, and that's what this is. It's something to ease your mind off of working and whatnot.
Okay.
There's nothing good or there's nothing bad I can say about it. Pretty good. Unlike some other series like Fantasy Star Online 2, the animation, which I have a bunch of bad
Alright,
things
well,
to
we're
say.
not gonna get into that too quickly.
There's
but
Berserk 2016 for some other stuff. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this series of shorts other than
go watch it.
got banned on YouTube.
Cop Alright, well, that's that, and we'll move on to the last person, Nier.
See, I kind of want to give it to Sangatsu no Lion, but that hasn't
Okay, that was
finished yet.
expected. Yeah, it's expected, but you didn't finish it. Yeah. Or it's not finished, excuse me.
Yes, it has not finished airing yet. So
Don't worry, Nier. Fate Grand Order hasn't aired it yet, and I'm gonna
don't
put it
worry,
on-
Toast. I don't want to watch that because that looks like fucking dog shit.
Don't worry, I'll watch it for you in your place.
Just like you watch PS2 stuff for
It'll
everybody.
get you right back into the game. Don't worry.
Alright, Nier, wait, go on. Wait, okay, so you would give it to Sangatsu no Lion, but then if you couldn't give it to Sangatsu no Lion, what would you give it to?
Probably Rakugo,
Okay.
more than likely. Or no, I was gonna say Lilico, but that's a short, so whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Rakugo just because Like that's such an amazing show.
Again, definitely. It didn't fly under the radar, but definitely underrated for
Yeah.
sure. It's like people kind of like passed over it. It wasn't. It was. I think people saw it, like saw the name, saw the premise, and they were like, "Oh, this is interesting," and then they passed over it, which is different from it just like people what's that series? You know what I mean? Which is very unfortunate still, but you know,
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to season 2. Um, again, if Sangatsu no Lion was done, and hopefully the ending doesn't make me upset or anything,
He
I
gets
would I
shot.
would definitely give my anime of the year to Sangatsu no Lion.
the
But
last episode is just the ending of Nisekoi. They
the
just switch
last
around.
last episode's just the secret episode of Berserk.
Yeah, done by Shaft. Yo, the Shaft did Berserk, man. That'd be real weird.
If any other studio did Berserk,
If Shaft did Berserk, you'd see Guts doing like the Shaft head tilt
Yeah,
every episode.
the sword
See
doing the
Griffith
Shaft head
doing
tilt.
the shaft head tilt.
but yeah,
Bail it.
I just can't. I don't know. I don't feel like comfortable giving a show that hasn't finished airing my anime of the year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's fine.
I'll give it to Rakugo, because that show's phenomenal, man.
All right, and with that, we have finished up our sort of major award section. What we'll do now is just give out, one by one. We'll go in one by one. We'll just give out our small, like, little bonus, awards that we want to give that we don't necessarily think that everybody would list up, and just also make sure that you know, kind of give our overall impressions of the year and so on, what we kind of hope for the future. So I'll start off. A couple of awards coming in. Uh, I want to give a not Monica of the year to Maho Shoujo Magical Girl Racing Project. Like,
The bad
Wasn't that
Monica of the year.
wasn't that the one where like it was a survival game?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a survival game thing, but it's like the point is it's essentially like Akuma no Riddle thing, but with like magical girl like spin on it, and people are as usual still obsessed
Is
with
it
the like
is it the Madoka of our generation?
yeah the Monica generation.
It's
It,
something.
it's it keeps baffling me of how like obsessed people can get over like magical girls can be dark now. Oh my god! Like I've never really gotten that like sort of I guess train of thought. And I mean, what do I say? It didn't. It did the survival game thing, which is already a big like ceiling to sort of break through, a very thick ceiling to break through, and then it kind of messed up sort of how the world was built very very much. So in uh in a series in a survival game sort of trope where building the world is very important, or it's either very important or you need to make sure it's like super ignored. But this series made sure that the rules of the system actually mattered, but then the rules were bad. So unfortunate. Um, Biggest disappointment in terms of scriptwriter slash original composition. I guess you guys can see where I'm going with this. Okada Marie. Like again, I'm just as I am a huge ardent fan of Kyoto Animation. Am well, I was definitely one of Okada Murray's most ardent fans once upon a time. And then all this stuff happened, especially with the whole like his Knife Mayoiga double incident. It was just like it's like she should have known what's coming. Like she can't do two shows in both seasons and then have them both be bad. And then not only be not surprised, but like just not even try at some points. It's just like no. um Best worst studios. But I gave best studio stuff to. I gave it to Duokobo just because it's like a low hanging fruit. But I would also give it. I would also think about Dio Media because they did like a whole bunch of stuff. Um, and
Mappa.
then we're and then worst studio goes to Kyoani. Just you know, they're literally just trying to lie down and take the K-On money at this point with their like movies and stuff and like their free money and just like run with it. It's kind of sad.
They're kind of just relying on their own name.
Yeah,
at this point.
exactly. It's like we are Kiwani. Like here's free, here's whatever. Please come.
Give us free money, please.
It's not even like Shaft, where it's like at least Shaft, like they don't rely on the Shaft name so much as the fact that they made stuff like Hidamari. They made Hidamari. They made Monogatari, and then it's wow, like the money's coming in. It's like Kiwani's just like, oh well, we're Kiwani. Like people kind of just eat it up. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, at least with Shaft, they have,
Like serious.
like it looks like they're trying to move forward with
Yeah,
Sangatsu.
yeah, that's definitely true.
Speaking of
It's
Shaft,
fun.
when's Fate?
Next
What's it
year?
called? Yeah.
Yeah,
it?
probably
Next
like
spring, in
spring season, yeah.
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 Okay.
I'd imagine.
And my last quick thing is a trigger of the year, which is just
What's the trigger?
the trigger of the year is it's like the trigger of the week, the thing that we kept bringing up at the ends of podcasts recently, where it's like we pick some opinion or article or something that happened, and that's really cringeworthy or really bad, and we just point it out. I think the trigger of the year has to go to our friendly neighborhood, Mr. Mage in a Barrel,
All the
and
triggers of the week went into him. Why would?
yeah, and no, there was some that was from Crunchyroll forums, but Kumamiko, his article on Kumamiko that was like he heard about the controversy and then he like looked up Reddit and Twitter for his research and then he created a very like nonsensical like line of arguments about why he thought this happened. And then his last paragraph, his closing paragraph was just like, I don't have an opinion on this. It was the best like pile of garbage, like meticulously like prepared garbage I've seen in a while. Very very interesting read. You guys should check it out. But yeah, that's my trigger of the year. It stuck in my brain and rattled around for quite a bit. So
Are we
yeah.
all going with trigger of the
Still
year?
there?
Uh,
You don't
Or is
have
this-
to.
What?
no. This isn't no. This isn't. These are like just individual awards that we want to give out.
Well, what if I want to steal some of yours?
Then do
Then
it,
go
but
for
it's
it.
not like a thing that like everybody has to do. Like it's not like you have to follow these same awards. But yeah, that was just small. All right. Going next, Nier. Any small individual awards things that you want to give out?
Um, yeah, I only had like one though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, I kind of feel dirty for this though. But I was gonna, I
We're
want to
keeping it
give,
down here.
I want to
There's no
give an,
turning back.
I want to give an award for best visual storytelling. Um, and that just so happens to be Kisniver.
Okay.
So like everything about, I feel like for Kisniver for me is such a double-edged sword because like all of the writing is just atrocious. It's fucking awful, right? Like it's just
But
bad.
everything that makes around it is like
But
quite good.
everything in terms of the visual aspect
Mhm.
and the like visual direction and just like everything that's on the screen that isn't like spoken is
Right.
really like pretty well done, you know?
Right.
And the few episodes I saw, like episodes 1 to 3, and then I watched episode 7 because everybody was like, "Whoa, episode 7's so good." Um like they're really good. Like the visual
Yeah.
storytelling is really really solid and it just makes me wish that like Okada Marie didn't do that.
Kind of where he did a double dip and kind of fail in the runway for both. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
like
unfortunate. Very
I
unfortunate.
don't know. Like yeah, I just
Yeah.
wish we got a lot more out of that series
Yeah.
than we did.
Oh, well, again, very unfortunate. Uh, and then Dark. Anything, any personal stuff that you want to kind of award?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'll do one. I had two standout awards, but well, technically three. But My major one is the why did it have to be like this award,
Not like this.
and that goes to Dimension W.
Yeah.
Because why did it have to be like this? Because it was so cool. It looked so
Oh,
cool.
God.
There was so much promise, and then
God.
it crushed my heart at episode 3 and 4.
Okay.
And then it kind of brought it back. And then
Yeah.
it threw it away again at like episode 9. But
Let's
not in the
go.
worst.
I was fucking done on episode 2.
The
Nah,
Ghost
that
is
wasn't
not
Ghost,
like
dude. Ghost was
Ghost
3
was
and
4.
4.
4, yeah.
Ghost was 3 and 4, man.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
Because
episode
that
1 and
show's
2.
fucking bad.
Episode like unless that was like
1
4
and
and
2 was
5.
setting up the mystery, right? The initial
A lot
mystery.
of that was like Loser and stuff.
Yeah.
And and they introduced like Loser, the criminal guy who was like super flamboyant and flashy, and like that shit was awesome. And then they're like, yeah, but like, what if we had ghosts? And I was like, don't know about that one.
What if we
Yeah,
had
don't know about
ghosts
that.
from this dimension traveling time machine that was stuck in the bottom of the lake and was possessed?
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah,
I
that
don't
makes
know,
sense.
I don't know about that. And then on episode like 9, they introduced the main villain, and I'm like, this show's 12 episodes. What the fuck? And and the main villain is in like a black hole thing that he comes out of every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, Dimension W was very interesting.
But
So
hey,
to
that
say.
OP and ED is real cool, and that girl's real cute, and those visuals are real good.
Not like this. Not like this. Alright. Oh yeah, and I forgot, Dark and I actually want to do a quick, like, newcomer, along with, like, best voice actors, we also want to do a best newcomer voice actor thing, where we kind of point out a voice actor that's been, you know, either done, like, very few roles, like, only done, like, 2015, 2016 roles, very new, or just, just a very newcomer to, like, major roles in general, and then just kind of point them out. My award went to Takada Yuki, who did Suzukaze Aiba for New Game. She did the tones very well. Her like emotion and reactions were very on par for a new voice actor. And I believe this was essentially her first, like, major role, and she had like maybe like 2 supporting roles before then. So she's a very newcomer. So, yeah, hope to see more of her in the future. And Dark, if you just want to quickly go over that, best newcomer voice actor.
So for me, for that, I chose Minori Suzuki, and
Mhm.
she voiced
Freya.
Freya in Macross Delta,
Mhm.
and that is her only role currently, and that's the
first
only role she's ever done. It's her first role, and she apparently has like no actual training or anything. Like
She just came. And
she
like,
just did
won
a contest with like
yeah.
8,000 other people,
So,
and then she won.
like-
And
It's like, what do you want?
yeah,
What do you want?
like I really don't know what else to say about that, but holy shit, I'm like, damn, that's really impressive. So
That's really good. Yeah. Okay. And Toast.
Up.
Do you have any like individual, like, personal, like, little things that you want to give away, award, whatever?
I mean, I only thought of pretty much one, or no, I thought of 2. Go with this one first. Mine is a best fight scene,
Okay.
and the runner. I'm going to give it to
Keijo? Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be Keijo.
Oh shit.
I mean, episode 12 had a really good fight scene where it was the vacuum ass cannon versus Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell being a direct ripoff of Gao Gaigar's Heaven and Hell. If you watched, you know what Gao Gaigar is.
Yes, we do.
I mean, it's basically a beam. It's basically a beam fight, but it was boobs versus butt. But then like the vacuum ass cannon got deflected, but then Nozomi pulled an Amakaku Ryu no Hirameki and like used her boobs instead, and it was like I can see and feel the anime references in this fight.
Yeah.
Pretty great. I
Okay.
mean, who doesn't like big like beam fights? Go
Yeah. Especially when it's related to Keijo boobs and butts.
I mean, Gohan versus Cell. That was a good beam fight. One of the best ones. or no, Goku and Vegeta on their first fight on planet Earth. That was a good beam fight. The
Shit,
Gun versus the Kaioken times 4 Kamehameha. That's that stuff's primo. But yeah, Keijo had some really good fights. The animation quality dropped several times, like as the series went on, but fight scenes were always good.
Okay.
The other one is most hyped most hyped movie that hasn't come out yet and probably never will for the next 10 years.
Shut up.
Does it start with a H and then end with a
Feel? Yeah, it's Heaven's Feel.
Evan's
How long have
Feel?
we been waiting here? 10 years? 14, 16 years?
Our grandchildren will be born by the time like
I mean, I've been waiting like at least 6.
Yeah, something like that. If the Dean anime was 2007?
Sakuramato, please.
Like that. 10 years, man! We finally got Unlimited Blade Works animated and it's pretty good. Heaven's Feel,
It's alright.
that's all that's left.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Okay. With that aside, just a couple of last lines for us. As for me again, 2016 was a pretty straight year. Had better audiovisual quality and stuff like that. But I do hope that this sort of plateauing of creative ideas. I do hope that editors and people that want to adapt into anime kind of look for the hidden gems within the light novels, the web novels, the visual novels, and find the good, creative ones, the ones that will really appeal to our hearts, deeper than just like Phantom World stuff. I'm just hoping for more, in essence, and I'm there are talents out there. I'm as much as I criticize and say blah blah blah. There are a lot of bad series, but there are also a decent number of good series out there. We just need to find them. So here's
Yeah, a
to
lot of diamonds in the rough,
Like
Just like-
Monogatari.
just like Monogatari.
here's to a better 2017. And again, I do have hopes for the future, or I do have hope for the future. Near last words.
I have no hopes for the future. Everything
Okay.
is bad.
Good.
Everything is shit. Fuck anime. No.
Mistakes.
I mean, I think I've. I mean, it's kind of hard not to hope for the better in the future. But
Yeah.
what I want to see more of is like not so much people picking better, uh, like light novels and stuff to adapt. I want to see more directors doing like I want to see more directors doing anime for like personal reason. You know, not like, hey,
seems
here's this
popular.
project.
Yeah, this
You
seems
know,
popular.
I want to see more. I want to see anime come back as like an art. You know,
Mhm.
because right now it's more of it's media, right?
Yeah, which one's getting the most sort of thing?
Yeah, I want to see anime kind of be more like I want more directors expressing themselves in anime.
Anime with art.
You know?
Like I said, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want wacky shit like Lane and Angel's Egg and like just crazy shit. I want stuff like that to come back. Like
Keijo?
that shit's not really shut up, Toast. Like that shit's not really made anymore and
where it is not so much a product as it is like a piece of art, a
yeah,
work of art sort of
like
thing. Like
you look at Angel's Egg and nobody knows what that movie really means except for Oshi. Like nobody knows. Like that movie is like it's like a piece of him, you know? Like he was in complete control of that. He created everything in there. And like there's not really anything that's really doing that anymore, you know? I want to see that.
I
I want to see that coming back.
yeah, I definitely feel you. I do want people who are just working. I mean, even if it does need to make money at the end, I do want to see more people working to make something that they can kind of be proud of. You know, be real proud of it. Be
I mean,
like,
even if it's like, I don't even care if it's bad. Like, even if it's shit. But like, I want to see people take, you know, risks. I want to see people like putting themselves out there.
yeah, risk is definitely one thing. It's very unfortunate. Just because the industry there's so much influx in the industry, it is very unfortunate that people do take the path that they are choosing to do right now. But, it's yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. uh,
Here's to the future.
yeah, here's to the future, friends. All right, Dark. Couple of lines, please.
Fucking, I mean, hey, I don't give a shit. Whatever, maybe Index Season 3 will come in 2018. I don't know. Fucking,
Here's to Index 2020.
what's another year?
Oh, Jesus. All right. Uh, Toast.
Huh?
Any last words? Just a couple of say goodbye to 2016 songs.
Is 2016 over yet?
No, you literally have 24 more hours.
Yeah. I hope nothing else bad happens this year because I nearly died on the 23rd. Thanks, 2016.
Yeah, but you're not famous enough, so.
I know. Yeah, who cares?
If this
Yeah.
podcast had like 100 viewers right now, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
I just hope next year won't be as lukewarm and terrible as this year was with anime.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
fucking.
All right. We too.
But
I know Toast. I know
watched
Toast didn't
Kane.
watch. I know Toast didn't watch very much, but I have like the same sentiments. Like, this year was very like just whatever.
I I
it's
understand.
because
I
there
understand.
wasn't that many good series that I didn't watch much, other than like Keijo and JoJo and Berserk and whatnot. Yeah, I just
I
hope
understand.
Heaven's Feel comes out next year, so I can start the year off with a high note.
I understand the sentiment definitely.
I hope
Okay.
Kobayashi Maid Dragon is good.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's a bit further up. All right. Anyways, we need to stop here for now. But again, thanks to all of you. I mean, again, this is. I mean, 2016 might have been an interesting year, so to say, in anime, but it was like speaking from my heart. It was really good, just talking with you guys, even if it's not necessarily like regarding the podcast. It was great, discussing with you guys, just thinking a bit more deeply about what's going on with all the stuff we're watching, what's going on in the industry every day, a bit more deeply than a lot of other people might think about on occasion, right? But it was great talking with you guys. It's been a great year, and here's to another year of both better anime, hopefully, and again, you know, a healthy and great podcast as well. Again, thank you,
Gosh, Spyro,
Nier,
you're
Dark.
so romantic.
Shut the fuck up. Thank you, Nier, Dark, Toast, and again, our former main staffs as well, Kenton and Self, just for helping us out and just helping run the podcast
Kenton.
and everything.
Who?
Some nerd. Yeah. But also thanks to again all of you guys here as well, everybody in chat, everybody listening out there, for the podcast, everything else. We obviously do this, because we have fun, but we also do this because it's like, we want everybody to, talk with us, discuss, have deeper thoughts on these things, because it's not just about, just turning your brain off, so to say, right? It's also fun to think once in a while. It's also fun to think. So,
I just want that subscriber button.
yeah, just give me these emotes, please. But yeah,
Fucking
again,
link your friends, link your
yeah.
Twitter, link it on your Twitter and Facebook.
Tell your grandmother about Tawa no Getsuyobi or Getsuyobi no Tawa. uh, but yeah, again, thank you so much for joining us this year, and hopefully you can join us next year as well. This has been our last podcast, the 2016 awards podcast. We'll have our next one probably halfway through January, right, like the 14th or something like that, on a regular time. Again, if you do like what we do, we live stream this every other Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, We on twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast with the number 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in anime, manga, VN, Allen, web novels, so on and so forth. About the industry. Please follow us here. Follow us on our Facebook at 4PlayerAnimecast, on our Twitter at 4PPAnimecast, all with number 4. Number 4, and we got our site as well, 4PlayerAnimecast.boa, where we keep updated our current podcasts, the side casts like visual novel casts and so on, our text content with like interviews from the contributors, community stuff, and much more. So again, the new year, or I guess this is New Year's Eve, right? Because it's Eve's Eve, because it's Friday. But yeah, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's
See you next-
technically Saturday
Yeah, it's-
now.
Yeah, it's Saturday now, so it's technically New Year's Eve. But yeah, we did this a bit earlier, all Friday recording. But yeah, again, thank you so much for everything, and see you next year.
See you next year. Damn it, you said it before me.
You were,
was gonna make that joke.
you were a little late.
See you next. Ah, shit.